A harsh bark echoed through the airport terminal. Everyone turned to look at a bewildered pregnant woman frozen in place before an enraged German shepherd. Security was already reaching for their radios, having no idea how much their routine workday was about to change, when the sharp, anxious barking suddenly broke the calm of the spacious waiting hall. The air seemed to vibrate with tension. People at the check-in counters and in the waiting lines turned to the source of the noise. Their gazes landed on the stunned pregnant woman. She stood entirely still, petrified, right in front of the massive German shepherd who was growling deep from his chest, hackles raised. The guards, busy with their usual checks, became alert. One anxiously reached for his radio. Another held his breath, trying to assess the situation. Was this a threat or not? Yet, judging by the woman's distressed face, nothing was so straightforward. Holding back tears, the woman practically shrank into herself. Her eyes were wide with fear, her gaze darting around the room, searching for any sign of support. She instinctively covered her belly with one hand, while the other gripped her bag so tightly her knuckles turned white. With each step of the shepherd, each movement of the large, powerful dog, she stepped further back until she pressed herself against the wall. "Please, stop him," she gasped, her lips trembling, her voice on the verge of tears. "I'm scared. Something's wrong." Gray kept barking and growling, his menace only growing. His muscles were tense, his gaze relentless, as if he sensed something everyone else had missed. The crowd parted, forming a ring of gawking passengers and startled bystanders. The very atmosphere thickened, charged with suspicion and fear. Two guards stepped decisively toward her. One held out his hand in a measured, calming gesture, partly keeping the dog at bay, partly trying to keep the woman still. "Ma'am," the tall guard addressed her in a stern but respectful tone, "please remain calm. The dog is a service animal. He's reacting to a scent. We need to check your information and clarify the source of this alarm. Please come with us." "But I haven't done anything wrong." Her voice trembled, mingling hurt and desperation. "I'm just buying a ticket. I'm late, please." The second guard, in a low, steady voice, added, "We care about your safety and the safety of others. Please do not resist and come with us." The woman looked back at the line, meeting only vacant, watchful stares. No one dared to intervene. The slow, mechanical gaze of the surveillance cameras tracked the unfolding scene, capturing the confused, pregnant woman surrounded by large men in uniform and a tense German shepherd. The guards guided her gently but firmly into a separate search room. They asked her to sit. One security officer sat down next to her, while Gray, still tense and watchful, remained by the door before he began sniffing the air around her. The room was coldly lit with fluorescent lights, featuring a metal table, white walls, the sharp smell of antiseptic and other people. "Can you explain why the service dog is reacting to you this way?" John asked, his gaze unwavering. The woman trembled. Her hands shook as she jerkily pulled out her passport, trying to compose herself. "I don't know. I have nothing illegal, I swear. Look through my things." While two staff members methodically checked her bag, unzipping pockets, pulling out the lining, inspecting every seam, document and wallet, using a handheld scanner to search every zipper and the suitcase bottom. The others stayed alert and watched her as well as Gray's reactions. The shepherd circled nervously, then suddenly sat right at her feet, pressed low to the ground, as if preparing to shield or warn, and looked at John pleadingly, whining softly, "I'm hiding nothing, I swear." Tears welled up in the woman's eyes, her breathing growing rapid and ragged. "I just need to catch my flight. My husband is waiting in another city. Please." As the search was coming to an end and nothing suspicious was found, the tension only grew. "Nothing was found among your belongings," said the security officer, "but the dog still isn't calm. We need to conduct a personal search." Officer Laura Jenkins approached the woman and said firmly, "Ma'am, the men will now step out and you need to undress. I have to search you and inspect your clothes. Don't worry, it's standard procedure." Please, the woman begged. Don't search me. I'm pregnant. Everything is fine. See my documents. They're all in order. I need to catch my flight. I'm running late, she pleaded desperately. My husband is waiting for me. Her despair was palpable. She instinctively shielded her belly as if protecting herself and her child from some unseen threat. She gazed at the security staff, desperately seeking even a small scrap of sympathy. She felt trapped, her heart racing, her breathing becoming more labored. Gray never took his eyes off her, his tense posture suggesting he anticipated imminent danger. The tension in the room kept mounting, and she began to realize her pleadings might not help her avoid the personal search. But suddenly, her condition took a dramatic turn, the very thing that had set Gray off. She began to feel faint, barely holding onto the edge of the table, her face blanched, lips tinged blue. One guard rushed to support her before she could collapse. "She's unwell!" someone shouted. The on-duty medic immediately rushed to her. "Where does it hurt? What are you feeling?" came a voice muffled in the commotion. "Pain! The baby!" she whispered hoarsely, doubled over with a spasm. Gray let out a piercing howl. John didn't hesitate for a second. He raised his radio. "Quick! Call an ambulance! Suspected internal bleeding in a pregnant woman! Hurry!" Paramedics burst into the room with a stretcher. Gray didn't leave her side as she was carefully laid down to avoid making things worse. She was already nearly unconscious. One paramedic quickly checked her pulse. "Faster! She's got internal bleeding, urgent hospitalization." John's blood froze. Gray had been right. He was trying to help them. The airport descended into chaos as medics rushed the woman toward the ambulance, their voices tense and urgent. John and Gray pushed through the crowd of shocked passengers, all frozen in place, watching. The woman's breathing went shallow, her eyes glazed as though she was barely conscious. "Hold on," one medic urged, squeezing her hand. "We're almost there." Gray, usually calm and confident, whimpered with anxiety, never taking his eyes off the woman, as if he understood the gravity of the situation. John felt a lump in his throat. If not for Gray, they wouldn't have suspected anything soon enough. As the woman was loaded into the ambulance, she turned her head just a little, trembling lips barely whispering, "Thank you," looking at Gray. The German shepherd gave a soft, reassuring whine, tensed in anticipation. John patted him encouragingly. "Great job, buddy," he said quietly. The ambulance doors slammed shut, and the vehicle was gone in an instant, sirens blaring. But John was haunted by the question, would they be able to save her and her baby in time? Waiting for news seemed endless. Gray was worried too, whining, watching the phone as if expecting urgent news. Several hours later, the phone rang in the staff lounge. The medic spoke quickly, excitedly. The patient had a placental abruption and internal bleeding. It was very serious, but you acted in time. The surgery was successful. Both mother and baby are safe. If not for your service dog and quick response, the outcome could have been tragic. John breathed a sigh of relief and sat down on the couch next to Gray, who, as if sensing everything was okay, quietly laid his head on John's lap. Later, airport staff came to visit the woman. She was already able to speak. Her color and smile were coming back little by little. She took John's hand, grateful and a little embarrassed. "I'm sorry I was rude," she said. "I was scared. I thought I'd be accused of something. But in the end, you and this amazing dog saved 2 lives." John smiled and glanced at Gray. The dog looked at the woman calmly, briefly resting his head on her knees. "He felt it," John said. "Your condition. We're only human. We might miss something. But dogs like Gray, they sense it for all of us." Gray sighed softly. He was proud, but now astonishingly calm. His mission was accomplished. From that day on, Gray had a special status not only with the service, but also among passengers. People recognized him, whispered, and petted him whenever they met. And John remembered that moment, the suspicion of smuggling replaced by genuine concern for a human life. Everything could have ended differently, if not for Gray. The story of that night spread throughout the airport, and management long re-watched the security tapes, reflecting that sometimes intuition and the loyalty of dogs matter more than even the strictest procedures. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your thoughts in the comments, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to not miss new releases. See you soon.